want to share with you briefly about something that Jesus told his disciples, and this is found in Matthew chapter 16, verses 24 through 28. And by the way, if you don't have a Bible of your own, if you go to BibleGateway.com, you can look up all the scripture that I reference in these Videvotionals. But again, Matthew 16, 24 through 28, and these words are closely following a rebuke of Peter by Jesus for just not getting the clear picture of who he was. Again, Jesus was trying to show the disciples who he was and what he was all about and what the truth of his coming was for. And he follows up with these words, and he says, "Then Jesus said to his disciples, 'If anyone would come after me, he must deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. For whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for me will find it. What good will it be for a man if he gains the whole world, yet forfeits his soul? Or what can a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man is going to come in his Father's glory with his angels, and then he will reward each person according to what he has done. I tell you the truth, some who are standing here will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom.'" Again, preparing them for his death and resurrection, which they still at this point didn't understand or realize. But I want to just zone in here real briefly at the words in verse 24. He gives a pattern for not only his disciples, but those who would come after, including ourselves and those who would come after us, that if anyone wanted to claim Christ or call themselves Christian, there were provisions or steps to do. And he says in verse 24, he must deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. And there's a specific order there. If you see, the first thing that has to happen is we have to deny ourselves. That means we give up the right that we think we have to whatever it is. Because what happens in that submission is recognizing our rightful place as God's creation, and we're giving ourselves back to him. So denial of self is then followed by taking up his cross. And what does that mean? That's dealing with whatever lot in life God has assigned for us, whatever plans and desires are his. That's taking up our cross, the burden that we have to bear for the cause of Christ, and then follow him. And many people want to follow Christ before they have denied themselves, and they want to follow him but not take up a cross. And he's very, again, explicit. Denial of self, taking up of the cross, and then we get to follow Christ wherever he may take us. And then in verse 26 it says, "What good would it be for a man if he gains the whole world yet forfeits his soul? Or what can a man give in exchange for his soul?" And so many of us work so hard for so many things, and yet we can do that and have a seemingly great life here on earth, and yet lose everything in the end by giving up our soul, the right to an eternity with God. And so I just wanted to kind of bring those things out, and there's a lot that could be said, but I'm trying to keep these things short. I'm interested in hearing what you have to think about that, either of the verses that I kind of picked out there, but I'm going to leave it there for tonight. And again, thanks for watching and listening, and I would appreciate any feedback you'd give me. Thanks.